Hi, and welcome to this edition of IanCam, when we're looking at equality, diversity and inclusion. EDI is so important. We've got board support for the work that we're doing, and we've also allocated resources to support that work. And we've now got a board champion in Jacqueline Adesay. It's my ambition that Estuary is a place where, whether you're a customer or a colleague, where you can be your true self, and that we celebrate that diversity of our customers and colleagues, so that can be our superpower. And one of those amazing colleagues who's helping us with our superpower is with us today. So welcome Gemma Kopel-Doree, HR Manager Talent, and also our EDI lead. Gemma, welcome to IanCam.
Thank you very much.
So Gemma, what have we been doing to develop our approach to EDI at Estuary?
Thank you. Yes, we've been doing lots, to be honest. I'm definitely really honoured to be leading this EDI work for Estuary. It's a lifelong passion of mine. It's a subject that's close to my heart as well for many reasons. And having worked for Estuary a long time as well, it's genuinely really exciting to see how far we're actually coming at this point. So we had agreement of our corporate EDI strategy and the full backing of this senior team and board at the end of last year. And we're now at the point where we're really taking some concrete action and focusing on actually doing some meaningful things towards that aim to become more inclusive, not just talking about it, which is often the danger, I think, with EDI. So we're really focusing on action. Yeah. So I've been in the EDI lead role since November, and a lot has happened since then, but I will try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So we've got our strategy. Out of that has come an action plan, which very much defines what our priorities are and our goals. And at the moment, the focus is very much on translating that into action and doing things, which includes everyone in the organisation. So it's not just about strategy or things at a senior level. It's very much, the focus is very much on delivering activities around EDI that are going to help build that awareness, the shared understanding, and I think as well the confidence in all of our people really from the ground up to know that this is something we are taking very seriously, that we are supportive and positive about. And that in turn is going to be the thing that really helps us become that much more inclusive organisation. And we do all have a part to play in EDI. It's not just something that can be led from the top or by corporate functions like POD. We all have to be in it together. Because I think at its most basic, really, the idea behind inclusion is it is just about that basic level of human rights and respect and making sure we all feel like we belong. So it's really important we bring all of our people on the journey. So in terms of what we've done so far, we've got our EDI Champions Forum very much up and running. They're doing a fantastic job really helping us on lots of the key actions around things like training, policy, events, that kind of thing. So lots planned there. We've got our new equality analysis process, which is what we use effectively to make sure our policies and procedures are inclusive for everyone, aren't inadvertently discriminating against any particular groups, and are kind of promoting positive inclusion for people who do kind of have additional needs. We've got a whole new process, which has now been agreed. That's been through the senior team, Unison, EDI Champions, and that's going to be rolled out with a full package of training to staff from May and June. As well, we've recently partnered with Inclusive Employers, who are kind of the leading body in the UK for inclusion practice in the workplace. So as well as getting lots of support with things like training and consultancy, we've applied for their Inclusive Employers accreditation, which is something similar to like TPAS or the Best Companies process, where it's a very robust inspection effectively, where they look at all of our practice, and we will get, as a result of that, kind of an action plan and real sense of where we are and a really good benchmark. We're building our partnership with Southend Pride as well. So we've been involved with Pride for a couple of years with sponsorship, training and events. And we'll be going along to Winter Pride in just 3 days from now as we speak, on the 24th of February. where we're going to have a stall and really be engaging and talking with people. So again, that's just helping us with that grassroots presence in the local community as well. I could go on, but hopefully that gives people an idea.
That's amazing.
Lots of events and, like I say, training coming up as well.
It sounds like we've really done so much work on this, but as we've talked about this before, presumably there is more to do.
Definitely. So our action plan is quite ambitious, which is good because it needs to be. The work's never done, and we knew we did have work to do. So there's a lot still to come. And I think when it comes to inclusion, the work is never done. It's always ongoing, as I think society and employers' understanding of inclusion and diversity is always evolving, and rightfully so. So we will have the outcome of our inclusive employers assessment coming in March, and that's really going to help us define our focus on which will be our priorities out of our EDI strategy going forward. So they will give us a full plan of, perhaps if there's areas where we're not doing as well as we should be, they will really support us with that. And I think the other huge focus is going to be training. So obviously we want to do all these things. We're talking about all our aims and becoming more inclusive, but we also know we can't just expect our people to do that without the support. So we're really going to be investing in a very meaningful across the board training program that's going to give everyone the tools to be more inclusive and more importantly, feel comfortable to bring their true selves to work and feel that inclusion for themselves. So it will be a full program of various training courses across the next 2 years, with a focus more on some of the broader inclusion themes that cut across all the strands. So things like inclusive language, unconscious bias, intersectionality, and much more. And what we're going to have is a matrix similar to what we have for mandatory training and things like that, which will set out which of the EDI courses will apply to each of the roles. So it's going to be really nice and clear. We'll do a lot of communication around it as well, and further comms to follow. So yeah, probably the next big things to look out for will be the inclusive employers outcome, training, equality analysis, and also some exciting events as well.
That sounds great. Thank you, Gemma. I know one of the things that you're really keen on is for all colleagues to do is to submit their EDI data. How can they do that?
Yes, definitely. So this can be done very quickly, easily, and completely securely via iTrent self-service. So there's a little section on the main profile area for your sensitive information, but we do have plenty of guidance notes on the intranet, and people can contact me or anyone else in pod if they need any help, or if you'd like a little demo to show you how to do that. All I would say is it's a really basic, small thing, but it's such an important step that literally everyone can take to really help us meaningfully improve inclusion. Because quite simply, if we don't have that understanding of our people's demographics, we can't fully make sure that everything we're doing is truly inclusive and representative for the people who work for us. And we are fighting a bit of a historic issue in this area, because people might be aware we've only been with iTrent for about 18 months. Previous to that, our legacy system did not hold much in the way of EDI data. So although when we transferred over, as part of the training, we're encouraging people to update their data and so on, unfortunately, at this point, we are still lacking in that area at this time. So we're working, hopefully people can see we are working really hard on our EDI practices, but we are still at the moment missing a bit of a key piece of the picture at the moment, and we really do need people's help with that. I would say as well, I completely understand, I've said, yeah, it's a quick and easy thing, but I don't mean to take away from the fact that people might be apprehensive about their EDI data and how it's used. I understand there's a lot of issues with this. You may not be familiar with the process. There might be concerns about stigma or discrimination, which is completely understandable with what people might have been through before. But I just wanted to provide kind of our full assurance that it is entirely confidential. It's the anonymous process with privacy very much built into the design of that part of the system by Trent. And that data will be absolutely protected at all times, kind of held securely in your individual record. We very much stand against discrimination in all its forms, and we would never use that information against you in any way. Also, it's, as I've said, it's held on your record. It's not accessible by your manager or anything like that. And when we do use that data to report on anything or to understand our staff demographics, it's never in individual form. It's only in an anonymous, aggregated format. And as well, the system literally cannot produce reports on individual data, so it is not something that we would do. However, despite all that, I know if some people still don't wish to submit their data at this time, I understand that. But what I would say is, if that's the case, we'd really prefer if you would go in and state the prefer not to say option than to put nothing at all. Because again, that can be really helpful to show us, perhaps, for example, if we're getting a lot of prefer not to state responses in one area, that we may need to do some more work on inclusion in that area. And generally, you know, the more we can do that, the better picture we can build, the safer and more inclusive a workplace we will be. But if anyone does have any concerns about that or wants a further chat, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
That's great. Thank you, Gemma. Can I encourage everyone to submit their EDI data? You know, you have my personal guarantee that there are no negative impacts from this, and we won't be sharing or disclosing your data. And that is really important, because the only thing it's going to do is help us be a better employer. So please fill in that data, or as Gemma says, if you don't want to, then please go in and state you don't want to, so it gives us a sense of where we've got work to do. And finally, Gemma, I know you wanted to give a shout out to some extra special colleagues.
I did, yes. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you and very much give kudos to our group of brilliant EDI champions. So as people are aware, we've been up and running for about a year now. We've got a group of brilliant people from all teams and walks of life at Estuary who basically have kindly volunteered some of their working time to support and work on our EDI work because they're passionate about it, like myself. So they really are acting as that vital link for us between our service areas and people out there day to day, kind of doing their jobs, and the organisation when it comes to our EDI practice. So again, it's been so helpful in ensuring that what we're doing when we think about the training, the events we're putting on are really relevant for our people and in turn our customers. So as well as attending our regular forum meetings where we all kind of discuss ideas and feedback from people's teams, they also are attending lots of training to further enhance their skills as champions, therefore being better able to support their colleagues. And they're all coming up with some brilliant ideas for things around training and events. So it really is making a huge difference to the momentum we're gaining with EDI. And it is very much a team effort. So it was really just a huge thank you to our vibrant group of 18 members that we have now. And if anyone's not sure who they are, if you search on the internet for EDI champions, you can bring up the list. And I'd also just like to encourage everyone to help make your own champions' lives a bit easier. So when your team's representative is coming back to you with ideas and things they need feedback on, please do engage with them and provide them feedback that they can bring back to the group. Because again, that really just helps us make sure that your voices count and that they can carry out those roles effectively. And also just to say, it's the more the merrier. We're open to everyone if people would like to join us still. Got a great number on board already, but there are certain areas where we could do with more representatives. So yes, again, please get in touch with me if anyone is interested in joining, and everyone is very welcome.
That's great. Thank you, Gemma. And if anyone wants to know anything more about EDI generally, presumably contact you. Happy to provide that information.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this edition of IanCam. Please join us next time for more IanCam. Until then, thank you very much and goodbye.